à toutes et à tous, merci d'être avec nous pour continuer ces échanges et bienvenue à ceux qui nous ont rejoints. Cette session va se dérouler en anglais avec notre invité. Donc je vais switcher. And this morning we have the pleasure to welcome Manuela. Thank you so much to being here with us during this edition of the FIC. You are Deputy Director of the Romanian National Cybersecurity Directorate. So the first question I would like to ask you, of course, it's to explain us what is the cyber strategy in Romania.
Thank you for your question. Thank you for inviting us here. It's a tremendous place and it's very energetic. So just 2 words about a national directorate for cybersecurity. It's a new institution. It was built a year and some months ago. It's the national authority for the civil cyberspace. It's a little bit more than ANSYS. So we are not only the regulator and the certification authority, but we also function as a hub between different stakeholders, be it the government, be it universities, be it public, private sector, local authorities, whatever. We are built as a hub to be the connection, also to bring the security people closer to the, let's say, civil area. And also we function a lot in project base. And one of the main line of business is also doing partnership with different institutions and also education. So mainly awareness, education, building the new specialists, but also building competence for the main public. So we're looking forward to developing the strategy. Actually, briefly answering your question, we have a new strategy of cybersecurity. It just came out on the end of 2021, together with the Directorate. We also, last month, have the new law on cyber defense and cybersecurity. So in the end, we close a little bit the cycle. Now we know who is in charge with what. Actually, the law was hard to do because everybody wants a piece of pie. But now it's very clear. We as a Directorate are the competent authority with everything that is civil in Romania.
So you already implemented some, let's say, non-usual actions. Could you explain us what you have already done?
Actually, I think being a new institution in the bureaucracy of government, it's always a challenge and it's nice to do new things. So we do a lot of awareness. We also function as a national SOC, all the technical things, but I wouldn't get into detail now. We also have the crisis center during peace. So even in this environment with war in Ukraine, we function as a hub on this subject. And measuring that, I think as I mentioned to you, there is a Eurobarometer that asks the people in Europe what they expect after the war in Ukraine. It was last summer, I think, and so on. So one of the answers of the people is rising cyber attacks. And for us, this is a beautiful example because 5% of the European people said they expect rising of attacks. 10% of the Romanian people said this. And doesn't matter that the Romanian people are more scared, but for us it was a measurement of the action of the awareness that we did. And rather, rarely you have this example in cyber. You can measure how your awareness works.
With this kind of results, like showing that awareness is working, let's say that you have some first results, how to make them more involved and more responsible?
I can give you a very odd example. I just noticed this morning. One of the things we thought is going to the people that usually have no connection with cybersecurity. And it's hard for each and every one of us because we are the geeks. We cannot talk about this with people that don't even care, like my grandmother or so. And one of the software association in Romania did a partnership with a newspaper that belongs to the church. Actually, it's the most published on paper for old people, like my aunt or whatever. They have every week a story about cybersecurity, teaching the older people or the people that read this newspaper uh, about cybersecurity, about passwords, about frauds, about scams, about banking, and about this type of things. So I think it was rather unusual to go in a very patriarchal and secular institution and speak about cybersecurity, but it worked. So I think one of the lessons learned of this is we shouldn't say no to any format. We should speak about cybersecurity in various formats. And our challenge now is how to speak about cybersecurity in other universities that are not on cyber engineering, not engineering or mathematics or informatics. So how you teach cybersecurity to somebody that is study literature, or somebody that study medicine. Maybe medicine is easier because I know they learn about viruses and epidemiology, but or somebody to study architecture.
Yes, of course.
And they are relevant questions. Mm-hmm. And it should be nice to talk about, I don't know, Leather Prince and Saint-Exupéry and say you should care about your rose and don't forget your fox. And don't forget also to be courageous. And it's not always a risk in cybersecurity. It's also a wonderful new world that opens for you. So just playing in this area.
And for you were talking before about education and
yes.
Let's say about younger people in primary school, for example. What are you doing about this field?
We do now a new law on education. Even the old law allows us. So in the old law, we had computer science from very young age. And now we'll have also cyber education that involves, or cybernetic education that involves a little bit more than only cybersecurity. We can talk about artificial intelligence, we can talk about IoT, we can tackle various subjects, but definitely also cybersecurity. And we wanted to do it very early. I don't know, cartoons, I think, or I don't know how Pif and Hercule will look, or Asterix will look for little kids, but I think they could be an inspiration. And we also focus on education on two main lines. One is creating the new specialists. Like we work a lot with universities and companies in building masters and competencies for young students, but also in a line that brings cybersecurity to all the other areas, and also a lot to cybersecurity in public institutions. Because at least I strongly believe that the women, not the women, okay, I will speak about the people is not necessarily the weakest link. It can be the strongest link. And if you change your viewpoint and think at the strongest link, then you start to do the right things.
And you wanted about the strong links. We will talk it about later at noon during the Agora. You will be of course with us.
Thank you very much.
And about women, because you use the word, and this is something also quietly important.
Actually, in Romania, we have a high number of women involved in IT. That's great, or in technology. So for me, it was a shock when I studied abroad, being the only woman in the room. I studied mathematics. In my country, there are a couple of women. We are not the majority, but maybe 1/3. So it works. So we have a base where we start. And also, I think we are good at it. I mean, people say it's cybersecurity is not only tech, but I always say to my male colleagues, if you look for the butter, you ask your wife where it is in the fridge because you never find it. Or and also your wife sees blonde hair on your shoulder without even thinking about it. And in cybersecurity, very often we look for the needle in the hay. And women are so suited to do that, and it will be totally stupid not to go on this resource, because all of us, us, government, business, have a shortage on people that we are bringing cybersecurity, and letting behind half of the Europe population just looking on importing other things would be, bluntly speaking, also from a business point of view, stupidity.
And the last point, maybe we still have 2 minutes, about cooperation, international cooperation, and especially with France.
I think we have a good start, because I know a lot of French enterprises that are for a long time in Romania, also build new capabilities in Romania, also in cybersecurity, but not only in cybersecurity. Romania is in a nice position to be very, very easy scalable. So it's small enough to can be managed, but it's big enough to can be really, rather very easily imported to a country that is 3 times as bigger than us, so to France. So a lot of companies in France test solutions in Romania, and it's nice to see it. I also strongly believe that we share the same values on European, but also cultural values. And I think in cybersecurity we should more often speak about values because it's Europe's job to bring it on the table. Nobody else will do it. So
cooperation with the ANSSI in France and
we collaborate. Yeah, we cooperate a lot in European formats. We also cooperate a lot directly. So cybersecurity has to do with cooperation. We also regulate together. We look on each other what we do. So I strongly believe we can do much more. Building on this common culture and common history, it will be stupid again not to do it.
To do much better together will be the final road.
I think we can bring together more on the table, and new Europe that we're still so more fascinated by the European dreams. Bring us on the table because you need the dream too.
Thank you so much, Manuela Catrina, to being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.